So with the change of seasons comes change of kit. This is one of my most favorite times of the year. If you're new to this channel, you're gonna find out really quickly that every season I like to change up my gear, and that's for two reasons. First reason is that I absolutely love gear. I just like different gear, so I like using different gear and playing around with different stuff. And the second reason is that I have a lot of students that come to my school, and a lot of people in general just ask me different questions about different pieces of gear. So I like to have some knowledge of how and why each piece of gear works or doesn't work. So normally I would switch out my summer kit into my fall kit about this time of the year, but we're gonna change it up just a little bit. I have an interim kit that I'm gonna be using for hunting season. Now the whole purpose of this kit itself was that I'm gonna try to do some more hunting than I have in the last 2 years. So right now it's archery season. Hopefully I fill my tags, and then it rolls right into archery season for black bear, and then the best time of year, trapping. So I'm only gonna be using this kit for probably a month to a month and a half, and then I'm gonna swap it out for my traditional bushcraft kit. I'll go back to some of my traditional items. But for now, the Bushcrafter's hunting bag. Now this backpack is actually part of the reason why I wanted to put this kit together. This is the Fall Raven Steuben pack with the additional side pockets. Now what's absolutely awesome about this bag is it also doubles as a chair. So I can actually just pick the spot that I'm gonna ground hunt from, plop my bag down, sit on top of it, and I have myself a nice comfortable seat. When putting this kit together, I took a couple different things into consideration. Number one was that I'm gonna take it hunting with me, so I needed some items in here that are gonna help assist me on my hunt. But I also wanted some items inside this bag that I can hunt and camp, and then get up in the morning and hunt and camp again, and then come home. And I also wanted a kit that if I'm just going out camping or I'm coming onto the school property for a day, there's equipment in there that I have that I know I might need for videos or just to try some new techniques that I can grab this kit. So that's really where my mindset was around building this kit itself. So just by looking at the outside of the bag, tucked in one side, I have my trapper's axe. So I always take this with me. I'm a big proponent of using an axe, so I'm gonna of course have that along with me. And then I have a pair of gloves just hanging on the outside. Now sometimes, I'll be honest, I'll swap these gloves out for just a drag rope, a big hank of cotton rope. And this comes in handy if you have to drag some game out of the woods. So sometimes I'll just swap them two items out. Inside the big compartment of the backpack, I have several different things. To begin, I want things right on top that I'm gonna grab before I actually sit down, because the beauty of this bag is that when it is closed, there's zippers that allow us to open up and access the lower portion of the bag. So I'm gonna grab items from the top when I first get into my hunting location. So when I open this up, I of course have my release, a camouflage long sleeve t-shirt. Now this is great because I like to just wear the clothes I have on out hunting. I do have hunting clothes, but I'm just so much more comfortable in my normal woods clothes. So if I think I need that little bit of an edge, I have an oversized t-shirt, I throw it over everything else I got, and I'm good to go. Some type of beanie. Now I'll put a beanie on as soon as I get in the woods. If you don't do that, you're missing out, because a lot of people sit down, they're a little bit overheated, a little bit warm from just hiking into their location. But I still put my beanie on. It just traps that much more heat, and it seems to keep you warmer just that much longer. So I throw my beanie on, and I have one for, even if it's not too cold out, I still have it for the evening. I have my rain gear with me, so I look at this as multifunctional. Not only are we dealing with rain, which can lead to hypothermia because the temperatures are getting cooler this time of the year, but we're also dealing with cooler winds. So if you start to cool down, this is a great thing to throw on because it's going to trap more body heat against you, and it's also going to block some wind. So having some rain gear quickly and readily available this time of the year is a must-have. Next is just a binder book. I have some Right in the Rain notebooks in here with some pens and pencils and different notes in there, especially for the fact that I'm going to be trapping this year. So if I see any sign, I could write it down in my log and I know where to go back to when trapping season begins. And then I have a wool buff. You can use any type of buff or rag in general. I use this though around my neck if it's really cold, and I also have something that I can clean up with if I butcher any game or if I have to field dress any game in the field and I'm really bloody, I can wipe myself down with this. So it's good just to have some type of rag or cloth along with you. So those items are generally just outerwear, and they're just additional items that I'm going to use primarily while I'm out hunting. The rest of the items are things that might help while hunting but are more woodsman items. So the first thing in here is a stainless steel bot from Vargo. This is actually just a screw top container that has a gasket seal on it, so you can put all types of foodstuffs in here. But what's really nice about this is it also can double as a pot for me. So I just take this lid off. I have a pot hanger that I actually put on this, and I can hang it like a bush pot over the fire. So I can stick in here some dried goods or granola bars, and I have food along with me. And then I also have my bush pot. Just a simple plate in case somebody else is with me and they are cooking bacon or eggs. And then I have my coffee cup, and inside that I have a tin that fits almost perfectly, so it makes sense just to stick it inside there. Inside this tin is a fire kit. So I have a steel striker, I have some homemade Surefires, I have a Yuko candle lantern, a lighter, and then this container to make char in if I would need it. Of course, my trusty haversack. I never leave home without this thing. This is great to just pull out if I don't want to take my backpack and I'm camping and hunting. I can put a few specialty items in here and I'm good to go. Now, before I go any further on the side pocket, I do carry a stainless steel water bottle. This way I have water with me, and I can also boil water that I find in the field. So I'm using my Vargo Bot as a cook pot, and I'm using this to purify my water out in the field. Now, the remaining section of my bag is basically just sleep equipment, and I went super lightweight with this compared to how I always go with wool blankets and heavier tarps. I went with some lighter stuff. So right out of the gate, what I decided to go with was just a hammock. So this is a Dutchware Chameleon hammock. It's all set up with all my suspension and everything within this bag. You can see it's just nice and compact. Specifically for a kit like this, I want to just crash at the end of the night if I was out hunting. I'm going to be setting up camp in the dark normally, so this is quick, easy, and efficient. And then I have the Coalcracker tarp from Dutchware along with my Ridgeline and some tent pegs. So that's a nice small package as far as shelter goes. Now, because of the temperatures this time of the year, I can go or not go with an underquilt. I just ordered a new one, so that's going to get added in here because the temperatures are going to be dropping. But right now, even this past weekend, I camped out and there was no need for it. I was comfortable with just having something over me. So for that, I just have a military poncho liner. I have this at the bottom of my bag. It doesn't take up much room, but if it would get much colder, an overquilt would always work. Now, in the outside pockets of this, I have several different things. So in the top pocket, very easily accessible for me, I have a few different things. I have a high power flashlight and some type of headlamp. I then have my compass with me, so I know what direction I'm headed and how to walk a straight line in case I need to get out of there. And I also like to carry some type of marking tape. This works really good if you're on a blood trail. You can just mark a tree and then go back to that point. So get something bright, fluorescent colored. It works great. And in my lower front pocket, I have some needles, the Gossman survival tool if I need to sharpen up my blades, a chain to hang my pot from, a ferro rod. See, you thought I forgot that in my fire kit. Never leave home without a ferrocerium rod. And just a little bit of duct tape. And don't forget about a multi-tool, especially if you're using a more modern bow or a rifle. You might need to make some adjustments to it, so having some type of tool like this is going to be a great thing. And then finally, on my side pouch, I have a small little carving knife, a spoon fork combo from Yuko, and a little bit of cordage. So that's what's inside my Bushcraft hunting bag for about the next month and a half. I'm excited to use all the gear and get out and just do something a little bit different for a while. So just make sure you're going out also, having a good time and doing what you love. This was Dan Walker, Coalcracker Bushcraft. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And as always, stay in the woods and maybe shoot a big deer.